Okay, so this is where we're at. Pale face. First thing I like to do is always hydrate my skin. So I'm going to go in with the ordinary hyaluronic acid. And I just kind of put it everywhere. And I just rub it in. Because regardless of if I have like oily skin, I still want my skin to be hydrated. I don't want it to be like all dry. Especially since I'm still using a kind of a mattifying primer, or I'm using a mattifying foundation. And ignore this and this broken nail. Just ignore it altogether. Today was a hot mess. My nose ring got stuck. Oh, I accidentally like hit it. It's probably why my nose right here is so like red. I accidentally hit the hoop with my hand, so it kind of like did one of those. Hot mess. I was in here trying to get it out with some little scissors, and I am not that handy. So for primer, we're going to go in with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. And I love this primer. And I love this primer. It just tends to make like your face like really tacky. But it doesn't make it dry. Maybe I used a little bit too much this time. Y'all, it's taking me forever to rub this in. Now when you do like have hyperpigmentation like I do, like I have some over here and I have some over here, sometimes depending on the coverage of your foundation, I will color correct. But if you have like a full coverage foundation, I don't color correct because I just don't have to. I've been using this soap. It's called the Koju Acid soap, and that soap is what's been helping to pretty much even out my skin tone. So it helps you not have to color correct anymore. Now for foundation, I'm using the Super Stay in the shade 355. So I mixed the 355 foundation in with the 360, and I kind of just take it on a brush and kind of just place it. Okay, so now that I have my foundation on, I filled in my brows, which I'll do a separate tutorial for that. What I'm going in with next is concealer. What I'm going in next is with concealer. Now when you're making a decision on what type of concealer you want, it's pretty much preference. It just depends on how much coverage you want, as well as wherever you want to place it. Depends on the structure of your face. Like for me, I like to go underneath my eye, and I like to go with like, it doesn't have to be like too much, but a decent amount. And then a little bit kind of on the inner corner, my Cupid's bow, as well as this like the corner of my nose, which when I blend it all out, it's going to pretty much cover my upper lip and my chin. Those are the only places I put concealer. I used to put it on my forehead and down the bridge of my nose, but I don't really care to do that anymore. As time goes on, you change your technique, you add different things and tips and tricks along the way. Okay, so for blending out my concealer, I like to use a brush, and this is the Morphe E8 brush, as well as a damp sponge. Damp, not wet. I like to put it under the faucet, let the whole sponge get wet, wring it out, and make sure it's wrung all the way out and there's no extra water in there. And I go in with the brush first. A nice, when I'm blending it out, I try to blend each area out the same way. So if I'm blending over here and I go up over here, I'm gonna go up over here. And for me, it's better if I blend out the edges of my concealer first. And when I'm blending out my concealer, I don't go past my brow. Like, I don't want it to be all the way up in my hairline. Ignore my little friend right here. And I like how bright my under eye is. So sometimes what I like to do is, if I want to get it brighter, have a brighter under eye, then I go in with my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn, and then I just blend that out. Okay, so now that I have my my concealer all blended out, if you decide to go in with a cream product, I will go in with like my cream contour at this time, but I'm not using any cream product at this moment to contour with, only because I haven't really found a good cream product that doesn't seem to like drag. I want to try the BH Cosmetics foundation stick. I heard that that one is really nice and it doesn't like take much to get it to blend out, so maybe I'll try that. But so now what we're going to do is, I'm taking my SACHA Buttercup powder, and it's a banana powder, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over that concealer, because once you set your concealer, if you set it out, if you set your concealer and it has like, it's not like smooth, that's how it's going to look on your face once you apply powder. So I go back over with the sponge and I make sure that area is like all smoothed out. And then what I do is I take my damp sponge and I kind of tap off the excess. Okay, so that's the first layer I use. And now I'm going to go in with a little bit more product, and I'm going to make sure that this is even on both sides. Okay, so now that I'm done just leaving that powder underneath just to sit for a little while, I like to set the rest of my face, and I like to use this Laura Mercier powder. Now this is the first powder. I want to get her translucent powder, but this is the first powder I've ever gotten from that brand, and I like it. I feel like you get bomb. I feel like you get a really nice smooth finish. And basically what I'm gonna do is just tap this little brush, tap off the excess, and then I just set the rest of my face. Okay, so then I don't want to leave this yellow powder, because some powders tend to, you just brush it off and it's fine. It doesn't leave like a yellow stain. But this one, I don't like leaving it on too long. So then I'm just going to take a clean brush. Okay, so for bronzer, what I like to do to bronze up the face is I do love the Ebony Bronze by COVERGIRL, and this is more of a shimmer. It gives you like a shimmer, a little bit of a shimmer, but it has a really nice undertone for women of color. Okay, so then what I like to do is I just went in with a little bit. I'm going to go in and spray my face with this Morphe spray because I feel like my face looks a little bit more powdery. And if I want to go back in afterwards with more, then I'll just go back in with more. Okay, so I let that dry. Like hands down, that Morphe spray is like the best spray. I've tried a lot of sprays, but this is the best spray in my opinion. That really gets the powders to like soak in the skin. So now that I have my bronzer on, sometimes I like to go in and chisel up my face a little bit more. And I'm going to use the Black Radiance Ebony Press Powder. And I'm just going to use this Morphe brush. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is go back in with that powder and just a little bit. To kind of clean that up because I don't want just to have powder everywhere. And since this powder does stain, I don't leave it on long. I'm just going to go right back in with my my powder brush. I'm going to go in now is with highlighter, and for the highlighter I'm using the Master Chrome. I love this stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go do my eyes and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today's video. If you want to see the eye look, that's going to be on a separate tutorial. That video should be up right after this one. And yeah, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.